We got shirts on sale. Express your evolution and starter Pokemon love by buying an Evolution Family shirt and Which One starter shirt. Link will be in the description below. Game Freak at E3 has announced that not all the Pokemon will be returning in Pokemon Sword and Shield, meaning that some of your favorite Pokemon may not be present in these games. Like me, many fans are really upset by the fact that they can't see their favorite Pokemon return, and I am as well. But I don't think the games are going to be particularly horrible for this reason. I will admit there definitely is some stuff Game Freak needs to work on, like all these trees. Like, these trees look like they came out of Ocarina of Time. However, despite these mistakes, I still think these games are going to be great to some degree, and I'm looking forward to them. Whether or not you look forward to them is completely up to you. I'm not going to tell you if you should be excited or not. No matter what though, Game Freak has made the decision to not include all the Pokemon in these games. Whether or not they will return in patches or at all is still a big mystery. Some Pokemon will be returning and some will not be. It's just the sad truth unless something changes. Regardless though, I'm sure there are Pokemon people want to return to these games, and based off of fan popularity, me and my friend SilphSpectre are here to guess what Pokemon fans want to return in these games.
What's going on, everyone? It's SilphSpectre here, and yes, the National Dex is apparently no more. Given everything we've seen in the trailers and the gameplay, we have confirmed 174 Pokemon in the Galar region Dex so far, which of course includes the evolutions and pre-evolutions of Pokemon that we've seen. However, it's very hard to determine exactly how many Pokemon there will be in the Galar regional Dex in total, but if we look at the regional Dexes from past games, we might be able to get an idea of what to expect. The biggest regional Dex ever was X and Y's Kalos Dex at 457 Pokemon. Given the facts that after Sword and Shield the total number of Pokemon will likely be around 900, there will be no National Dex, and this is the big home console games that fans have been waiting for, I think it's safe to say that this will be the biggest regional Dex ever, so we can probably hope for about 500 Pokemon or more. Interestingly, in explaining this decision to cut the National Dex, Masuda said that one of the reasons was that Sword and Shield would probably be a good point to go back and reevaluate what would be the best selection of Pokemon that appeal to the widest audience, while keeping into consideration the balance of the battle system. So naturally, in this video, we're going to be considering the Pokemon that appeal to the widest audience like Masuda said. Some of the fan favorites, in other words, that aren't terribly unbalanced when it comes to battling. Of course, every Pokemon in existence is somebody's favorite, so if you don't see your Pokemon on our list or the confirmed list, be sure to let us know in the comments. With that said, let's jump right into it.
So to start off, we got all the starters. These are the first Pokemon any trainer can pick at the point of their journey for all the main series Pokemon games. I highly doubt Game Freak is going to be excluding these Pokemon at all. These Pokemon hold so much sentimental value to trainers' hearts that I don't think Game Freak will ditch any of these. Plus, the starters are pretty much like the series' mini mascots. They are the poster children for each of the games, excluding the box legendary Pokemon. We've seen them a lot in cinematic shorts, there are plushies about them, and there are just so many different ways of them being advertised. I think all the starters will be included, and I know this doesn't really show a lot of promise, but we have seen Charizard so far, so we can at least say the Kanto starter should be making a return. Legendary Pokemon and mythical Pokemon are kind of hard to predict with what fans like and dislike. If I had to guess some Pokemon to come back, it would obviously be the legendary birds, the Beast Trio, all the box art legendaries aside from the Sun and Moon ones. Shame on people who dislike Sun and Moon, by the way. Mythical Pokemon, I think people want all the mythical Pokemon to come back because a lot of them are adorable. Because all these Pokemon are usually distributed through events, we don't know which ones will get released. But I guess a few mythical Pokemon that come to mind that I know a lot of people like are Celebi, Jirachi, Manaphy, and even Marshadow. If there are any more, please leave them in the comments below. Legendaries and mythicals are tough to guess, especially since Game Freak said they want to balance the battling system, but who knows? Some fan favorites could come back.
Alright, so there are two of the bigger groups. Now let's move on to the individual Pokemon and their evolutionary lines. We'll be starting in Kanto and going all the way to the bottom of Alola. Of course, Kanto is an interesting situation since the Let's Go games just came out, and we're meant to bring Pokemon Go players into the main series. If they're unable to transfer their Pokemon from the previous game in the series, I don't think they'd be too happy, so we very well might have all Kanto Pokemon available, but here are some favorites and likely choices nonetheless.
I think the Beedrill line will come back if the Butterfree line is here. Due to Arbok being Jesse's old mascot Mon, I think the Arbok line will be making a return. It's not a very popular Mon, but it can definitely come back. A lot of people like the Needle line. I can see these Pokemon coming back for sure. The Zubat line will definitely be making a comeback. They are your cave Pokemon that bug the living crap out of you. Plus, Crobat is a pretty well-loved Pokemon. No doubt in my mind, Meowth's Evo line, including the Alolan forms, will be returning. Meowth is like the secondary mascot at this point.
Up next, we've got Alakazam. Now, who doesn't like Alakazam? It's powerful and majestic looking in every way, shape, and form. It's a solid but not overpowered fan favorite. I think this thing will make an appearance. The Tentacruel line. Now, I'm not really sure if too many people are huge fans of the Tentacruel line. I know I love its shiny form personally, but with them being so prominent as surfing encounters, I think these Pokemon will be popping up in the waters of Galar. Farfetch'd. Now, Farfetch'd is a Pokemon that a lot of people want to see get a new evolution or some kind of buff. People want to see Farfetch'd make a return, I guarantee it, even if it's just for the memes. Plus, that leak that has been amazingly correct so far did predict a Farfetch'd evolution, so... Next is Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. The Hitmons are pretty popular among Pokemon fans, they're really well designed, and are definitely some of the coolest Kanto Pokemon. And we've got Weezing. If Arbok is coming back, Weezing is coming back. It's also got great potential to get a buff of some sort, whether that's a new form or even an evolution.
This Pokemon is broken and competitive. It's a disaster, but people love it for that specific reason. Also, the Galar Pokemon nurses could use the Chansey evolution line. Starmie is an awesome Pokemon with a great move pool. A lot of people like Starmie, as I've seen loads of people use them on their in-game teams or whatever. Scyther and Scizor are hella popular. No way they are not coming back. I don't know how many people I've asked what your favorite bug Pokemon is, and they replied to Scizor. It's too many to count. I feel a lot of people like Magmar and Electabuzz. I have never heard any negative things about these two Pokemon. If these two Pokemon return, their Evos would as well, even though I like Electivire a lot more than I do Magmortar. Lapras is the primary Pokemon known to be the surfing sprite in past Pokemon games, and is known to be ferrying people across the water. It's fact, Lapras is coming back. People love Lapras, there's no way that they don't.
It's time for Omastar. Lord Helix is coming back. You all want this Pokemon, don't lie to me. The other Kanto fossils will probably come along with it too. The Dragonite line is probably also coming back. This is one of the most popular pseudo-legendary Pokemon without a doubt. Now here's an interesting one, Mewtwo. Now this Pokemon is a staple for the series. Although overpowered, I think it'll still be back since it's so prominent, and of course Mew has been confirmed, and to have one without the other just seems really weird. Plus, fans absolutely love it. With the kind of popularity Wooloo has gained so far, people definitely want the Ampharos line to come back. Wooloo and Mareep could be the best of friends. After seeing Corviknight being based off of a Raven or Crow, people definitely want the OG Raven-Crow Pokemon Murkrow and Honchkrow to be in these games. Corviknight and the Crow line are a set. Imagine them teaming up together and causing some trouble across the Galar region. This needs to happen.
Despite how derpy Dunsparce is, I guarantee people want this Line Pixie to come back because it's precious. Heracross is easily one of the most popular bug Pokemon. It's coming back. Mamoswine is known amongst fans for being one of the most powerful ground-type Pokemon. People love its design and recognize its power, so if Mamoswine comes back, all of its previous evolutions come back as well. After seeing Corviknight get revealed as Flying and Steel-type, people want Skarmory back. Guarantee it. Kingdra is a pretty popular Pokemon. I am sure it and its evolution line will be in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Up next, we've got the Gligar line. Gliscor is super popular, and who doesn't love to run Stall and Toxic Orb? Next up is a weird kind of choice, but one that I think is a good one, Shiftry. This thing would look incredible in a forested wild area, and I think it's one of those really underrated but still really loved Pokemon by Pokemon fans. Another Gen 3 Pokemon, Slaking, is almost a pseudo-legendary in its own right, having one of the greatest attack stats and base stat totals of any Pokemon, but its ability does ensure that it's not too overpowered. I think a lot of people love this evolutionary line, and to see it lazing around the wild areas would be hilarious. Next, we've got Sharpedo, and with Sharpedo being a previous ride Pokemon, I think a lot of people did get attached to it. People enjoy riding fast on the water, what can I say? I think Sharpedo is popular enough too, being based off of a shark. Plus, if we finally got a dolphin Pokemon, Sharpedo could be like a rival duo Pokemon, kind of like Zangoose and Seviper. And another underrated Gen 3 Pokemon, Walrein. It's definitely one of the most underrated and underappreciated Pokemon of all time, actually. This thing needs to be in the snow area of Galar or chilling in the water with Milotic.
I think people appreciate Altaria and its beauty. Absol is one of the coolest Dark-type Pokemon. It's definitely one of the most popular Hoenn Pokemon, without a doubt. Salamence is Hoenn's Dragon Pseudo and super popular with fans. Without a doubt, people want Mence and its line to come back. People love the Lotties. I could see them coming back for sure. I think Staraptor is one of the more popular regional birds. I can see people wanting this line to come back.
It's time for the bug-type Kricketune. It's for the memes. I mean, who doesn't like Kricketune's cry? And we've got Luxray. The Luxray line is super popular. This is a huge fan favorite. I don't think I have to say much about this one. Next up, we've got Lopunny. People want this Pokemon. Don't ask questions. And a Gen 4 favorite, Garchomp. Now, this is one of Sinnoh's most popular Pokemon, plus Cynthia's is so iconic. People love Garchomp, and since Hydreigon is already confirmed, people would be upset if this thing was not in. I think people also think that the Yanmega line is pretty dope, and it's a popular shiny hunting target too.
I should have mentioned this earlier when I was on Snorunt, but I wanted to talk about it here because it's seen more prominent. Frostlass I feel is popular enough, but that would mean that Glalie would have to come back too. Ugh. It's God, who doesn't want it to make an appearance? As far as the other Sinnoh legends go, I'm gonna say people want them because of Diamond and Pearl remakes, and they're right around the corner. I think Statland is a fan favorite around the Unova fanbase. If you've seen the Sun and Moon anime, you should probably see why. Rest in peace, you precious creature. People totally want these mons. It's a joke, by the way. This is here for meme purposes. Excadrill has quite the competitive reputation. Fans definitely love this Pokemon. Plus, it got one of the most dope designs for a Unova Pokemon, hands down.
Another Gen 5 favorite is Conkeldurr. It's definitely one of the more powerful Unova mons and a common team choice. People like its power, and it's a great but relatively underrated Pokemon too. Next is Scolipede, and who doesn't love Speed Boost Protect? This Pokemon also has a slick design, and I think a lot of people can agree on that. Any forest areas, and this thing is in there. An interesting choice would also be Whimsicott. Now, I think a lot of people find Whimsicott cute, and for some reason I feel like it would fit really well in the Mushroom Forest in Galar. Crocodile. This is easily one of the most popular Unova mons right here. It's a reptile with shades, and it's a shoo-in for the desert wild area. People dig this Pokemon. Literally. Next, we've got Darmanitan. Darmanitan is one of the coolest designed Unova Pokemon and one of the most powerful too. It's definitely one of those Gen 5 Pokemon that I think all Pokemon fans can appreciate at some level.
I think people like Scrafty, so I'll go ahead and put it on the list. Oh yeah, fans want this Pokemon. Who doesn't like Zoroark? I think people want Bisharp in Pokemon Sword and Shield just because it's based on a knight, so this one is definitely a fan favorite. One of the most popular bug Pokemon. People love Volcarona, easily.
Moving on to Gen 6, we've got Talonflame. Now, Talonflame is considered to be pretty awesome among most Pokemon fans. I think a lot of people admire it for being one of the coolest regional birds. Most people would definitely be cool with it making a return. There was also a fletchling on the Wind Vane in one of the Sword and Shield trailers, so that might raise this possibility. Another interesting choice is Vivillon. Now, I think people really would love to see their unique pattern of Vivillon in HD, so that's why I think it's a pretty high demand one. Next is a Pokemon that I think a lot of people don't really have as their favorite, but it does have an important part of the Pokemon lore, Floette. And with a potential Kalos link for this game, I think it would be a great choice. Clawitzer. Lots of fans love this thing, it's a tough battler, and I just see this thing being in the wild areas chilling about.
It's a Sword and Shield. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Yeah, I think this one is an obvious choice. Although to be fair, Solrock and Lunatone really weren't in Pokemon Sun and Moon, so who knows if Game Freak. It's a T-Rex. People love dinosaurs, so I'm gonna assume yes? People want more story with Zygarde, plus there's a fact people also want a Kalos post-game. This Pokemon is high demand, absolutely.
Next, we're gonna have to include this thing. It's the Trump memes that make this Pokemon popular, but I think people want it back for the memes. An interesting choice also would be Oricorio. It's definitely a cool Alolan-mon, and I can see people wanting this birdie back, and its form differences are definitely fun to play around with. One of Alola's most popular Pokemon is Lycanroc. People love this thing. I'd almost say there's a 99% chance this thing will be back. Araquanid. It's a water spider. That's dope. I'd love to see this thing floating on the water in the wild areas. Next, we've got Salazzle. This Pokemon is very loved among the Pokemon fans, even if they didn't like Gen 7 a whole lot. I can guarantee that a lot of you had this thing on your team. It's a great Pokemon with a really cool typing too.
One of the coolest Pokemon in all of Alola. People love Savale. And finally, Drampa the Snoop Dragon. I will say people want this Pokemon back a lot. Well, that pretty much wraps up all the Pokemon we think fans want to see in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think all the Pokemon we listed are relatively popular or super popular amongst fans. These are all Pokemon that have made great impacts to the Pokemon games and are what we consider the prime candidates Pokemon fans want. Of course, everyone has their own unique taste in Pokemon, but from a general consensus, we feel this list is pretty dang accurate. Despite the list though, what Pokemon do you want to come back in Pokemon Sword and Shield? Share them in the comments below. I already know a lot of you are probably going to be saying, we want all of them. And trust me, I want them all back too. But let's just wait wait and see what Game Freak does. Who knows? We might get all the Pokemon back, and we may get our favorite ones. Regardless, I'm not gonna let this ruin my Pokemon Sword and Shield experience, but I can't say the same for everyone. I just hope all of us as Pokemon fans can come together and still enjoy these games to at least some kind of degree, regardless of the position Game Freak has decided to take. Anyways, that was all for my little rant. Thanks for coming on, Sylph.
It was a pleasure to be featured on this, my friend. This was a really cool video to do, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoy Sword and Shield content, I do create analyses about what's going on with the games on my channel, so if you're interested in checking it out, the link to my channel will be in the description and the iCard above. Thanks again for having me on, Mystic.
If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like Shiny Hunting, Showdown Battles, Explorers of Sky, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Smash Bros, Borderlands, you name it, I play it. Want to support me further in Game Club perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lego, Jarrett Weezosted, and Sodden Grider did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrian, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.